So we're going to look at some slightly harder single bracket factorization problems here. And we're starting off with this one where we've got x squared plus 6x. And so in terms of the numbers, we don't have a number in front of the x squared and we've got 6 in front of the x here. But you'll notice that we have x in both of these parts. We have x squared here and x here. And so in this case, we have an invisible 1 here. In terms of the numbers 1 and 6, the highest common factor would be 1. That's the largest times table both 1 and 6 is in. But we also have a common factor with the letters. X is common to both. We have x squared here, we have x here. Since x squared is like x times x, we have x that is common to both of them. And so if we bring out x, or we could write 1x, since 1 is the highest common factor in terms of the numbers, but we don't need to write 1x because that means the same as just x. So we have x out in front, bracket. We're going to need x here because x times x, remember, is x squared. And we will need 6 here. X times 6 is 6x. So this is what this question looks like factorized. This one's similar again. We've got a squared plus 4a. A is common to both of these terms here. So a will come out in front. There's no number. 1's the highest common factor in terms of the numbers, so I'm not going to even write that there. So a bracket a plus 4. And if I expand it out, I can always double check. A times a is a squared. A times 4 is 4a. And this one here, 18y plus 12y squared. This time we have 18 and 12 as our numbers. So we have part of our highest common factor is going to be a number part, and part will be a letter part. So 18 and 12, the highest common factor, or the largest times table they both fall in, is the 6 times table. So 6 is the highest common factor of the numbers. And we've got y and y squared. So y is the highest common factor of the letter part. So overall, the highest common factor of these two numbers is 6y. And 6y times 3 will give 18y. 6y times 2y will give 12y squared. And so we can figure out that what's in the brackets that way. Here we have p to the power of 3 and 2p squared. Now, this time, we have more than just a single letter, because each of these terms is more than just, it's not just p in one of them, it's p squared is the smallest power on those letters. And so that means the highest common factor in this case is p squared, because both of them have at least a power of 2. And so that means p squared times p will give p to the power of 3. P squared times 2 will give 2p squared. This one here, we've got 12 and 16 as our numbers. Highest common factor, or the largest times table they're both in, is the 4 times table. And a, b, and b is the common factor. And so 4b times 3a will give us 12ab. 4b times 4 will give us 16b. Now this last one here, it's a bit more involved in terms of our letters, but if we look at what's going on here, we've got 4 and 8. So in terms of the numbers, our highest common factor is 4. We've got c squared and c to the power of 4. Both of these have at least got c squared. So c squared is the smallest power on c. And d squared and d to the power of 3, d squared is the smallest power on d, so that's going to come out the front. And, well, 4c squared d squared times 1 will give us our first term, and 4c squared d squared times 2, now we're going to need c squared d. When this is multiplied with this, that gives us 8c to the power of 4d to the power of